Hey everybody, welcome back to Landshark Garage. Well, after we got back from back to the 50s, we decided we're going to cut a couple coils on the 3+3, get the interior work done, get her out of here so we can bring the 49 in and autopsy the motor and see what's going on there. Here we go. So we took a pre-measurement on where we're at. We're going to take one coil off of the bottom of the springs once we get them popped out of there. Mrs. L's going to paint the rims while we got it out. White again. Imagine if you had a sway bar, you'd have to disconnect that. Got to take out the lower ball joint, disconnect the shock, and we'll get after that. 7/8 of an inch. I used to be working with this big heavy duty stuff. I never had these wheels on. Oh, everything's so freaking heavy. Why is it all so heavy? So we did this one time on a circle track car chassis in here, and all it was the frame, and we broke that lower ball joint loose and it tipped the whole chassis up on end from the force of it. So you got to have something underneath that lower ball joint when you break it loose that you can let it down slowly. But if I take my floor jack out, I think the front end's gonna droop more than I want it to, so I'm gonna use my small jack to hold the lower ball joint up, take the shock off, break the lower ball joint loose, and then I'll just let it down slowly. We'll pull it out, cut the coil, do the opposite on the other side, not do them both at the same time, because if you do them both at the same time, that's when shit breaks on this side and you never get to that side. So that's what we're gonna do. Cotter key's always the worst. If you got a good tip on how to take them out, leave it down in the comments for us. There. There we go. Okay, so now that's loose. I left the nut on, as you can see, so that will grab, but the ball joint's loose. So I should be able to pull that nut out, and I'll just slowly let this down and we'll pull that spring out of the pocket, allegedly. I don't have a torch, so I can't just like heat things up and torch it out. Oh, of course that's gonna turn. Never fails. All right, let's jack it up a little bit. Okay. We'll see if we can just guide this down a little bit. A lot of pressure on that spring, so. Okay. I'm gonna grab a ratcheting strap and strap this off to the side so it's not in the way. So if you look, there's a spot right here where that spring needs to sit. So as long as I cut at least just one full coil out, this will lay back in there the same way, and then we can run it back up into there. So we're going to cut the coil off of this. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off flush with that for one full coil, which is supposed to be 2 inches. I guess we'll find out. All right, there we go. One side done. We'll put it back together. Do the other side. Get back with you when we're done. All right, we got both sides done. driver's side went just as easily as the passenger side, oddly enough, for having never been apart. But Mrs. L did the old playing card trick and painted the rims white again. So when I cut that second coil, I broke out this Milwaukee 4.5 inch metal stainless steel blade, and that thing is the bomb. That cut through there really good. Doesn't look like it wore real bad. So I'd never used one before, decided to buy it and try it. Buy it and try it. Worked out pretty good on it, especially on that heat treated coil spring. So we're gonna let the rims dry up and we'll get this baby back on the ground and see if that measurement changed. Hopefully that measurement changed. Okay, back down on the ground. New white rims painted up. We took the coil out, cut one coil out of each side in the front. Went from, it took out 1.5 inches measurement wise, both sides, so it's nice and even. When we put it down on the ground, the passenger side coil was turned a little bit in the pocket, which made it sit about 3/4 inch higher on that side. So we had to get in there and manipulate that spring a little bit, but this is actually the rake we were looking for, because we're going to use this truck to pull our trailer and our camper and stuff like that. So we didn't want to get too aggressive with the lowering. We're slowly getting this thing finished. The 1.5 inch shackle we put in the back is rubbing on the box, so I gotta do a little cutting back there to clearance some room for it. That's something that I forgot to do before we put the box back on. I knew I had to do it. We're gonna straighten out our body lines. We're doing some interior painting, a lot of little things. Eventually we are gonna have this truck kind of completely this color black, maybe a little lighter except for the white top and the white bumper. Everything else we're going to put in primer, and we might leave it that way for a couple years. We just want to be able to enjoy it and not be working on it all the time because we've been working on it so long. So speaking of so long, never forget, drive your shit. Thanks for watching and following Landshark Garage. You guys are the best subscribers. Like and share with your friends. We're out of here. See ya.